You've probably decided to give C++ a chance. After all, you're willing to start going through this material with me. But maybe you're still not 100% sure that you want to learn it, or maybe even when you know it, you're not sure if it's the right thing to use for the particular project that you're taking on. C++ is a general purpose language. That means you can use it for large, big metal applications that are doing number crunching, simulating the weather on the entire world or controlling complicated real-time equipment. You can use it for a web service. You can use it for a client-based application that runs on your Windows machine and shows people screens and asks them questions and puts the answers in a database. You can use it for a tiny little handheld device of some kind, maybe a phone, maybe something tablet-y, whatever. Much, much smaller memory space, much, much smaller hard drive than that big iron number crunching, but the same programming language the whole way. So across a variety of platforms and across a variety of problem sets, C++ is a language that's well tuned to all of those. If you think of some other popular languages, maybe some other languages you know, often people will describe them and say, well, that's a great language for writing a web application. That's a great language for writing a text processing application. That's a great language for numerical number crunching. Terrific. C++ is a great language for all of those things, and one that you can leverage your knowledge of across a variety of different kinds of projects. C++ is about speed, about power, about performance. Where decisions are being made back in the language design level, very often the question is, which way would be faster at runtime? And that's the way it got done. Another real popular question is, which gives the programmer the most control? A lot of decisions are left up to the programmer in the language in order that you can take the way that's faster in your particular case. Whenever you talk about performance, the answer is often, it depends. And when a language makes a single choice, then a developer can't adapt to the circumstances they find themselves in. In C++, because there's tremendous fine-grained control over what happens, you can choose the approach that makes your application perform as powerfully as possible. And C++ is a very popular language. Microsoft's Visual C++ team went out to do some numbers. Who's still using native C++? And they discovered, wow, a lot of people are using native C++. They went to a number of open source repositories and just ran the numbers. How many projects are written in each language? To their, I've got to say, tremendous surprise, the number one language was C++. And not just for Windows projects, but across a variety of platforms. And for college students, that's the language college students are using. Not just for their assignments, but also for their personal projects. And when you have a 10 million developer base, as C++ does, you have a lot of great libraries out there. Libraries that provide general purpose algorithms, containers, whatnot, helpful things, and specialized libraries that are all about image processing or internet transmission, or things that you and I have never even heard of, but someone's gone and written an open source C++ library that you can use to make that work simpler. Leveraging other people's work is obviously another great path to power and performance, because that's code that you didn't have to write. People talk a lot about how C++ is a language for speed, and it is, but that doesn't mean it's a language for just a small select group of people. It's an incredibly popular general purpose language, and investing the time in learning it for one context may often bring you benefit in another context, and that's why I think it's worth learning.